Yeah, the
the
coffee
grease
filter, and you have to melt the shit in a solvent. It couldn't have been good for you.
No,
And you're getting all the binders out of it and stuff, and it came out like this honey
crazy.
color. It was just like this dark honey color. It was insane. I think I'm a test and Primo guy. GH, a little bit of insulin from here on out. I'm just like, if you can't grow on that, I don't know what to tell you. My blood markers are usually, I mean, they're a little skewed, but usually pretty decent one, even running higher doses.
It's funny, as we all get older, we say the same thing. You get your short list of drugs, and it's test, Primo, GH, and insulin, and that's it. And everybody's like, yeah, that's what I'll run, and maybe during prep I'll run a little bit of Tren, a little bit of Masteron, but that's it, no? It's so funny that we all come to the same, drug selection.
Yeah, I mean, last year on prep, I backed off the Tren. I only ran what did I run last year? I ran 50 milligrams, or no, 20 milligrams a day is what I did. So it was 140 a week.
Right.
Is what I.
Yeah, 150. That's most guys need. If you do your drug design intelligently, that's apparently it's come full circle. We've had our period since the 90s where people ran 2 ampules of parabolan, right? That was considered a lot. That was 150 milligrams, but actually 100 milligrams Tren without the ester. And then we had our GH15 days where everybody went on a gram or 2 grams of Tren, which I don't know what we were all thinking, but it sounded reasonable at the time. And now we're right back at 150 milligrams a week again. It's so funny.
What's the most Tren you ever run?
A gram.
Man, I've never gone up that high. Now. I think 700. Yes, I did 100 milligrams a day one time, and I had a fever.
Yeah, me too. I did a gram for 4 weeks, and then I was just melting. I was just profusely sweating and severely irritable and highly inflamed and coughing. Obviously, you get that little prostaglandin irritation in your lungs. Oh, it's horrible.
And I see these guys online talking about guys running 3 grams of Tren a week. I'm like, who the fuck is doing that?
It's oil. That's like BS underground lab with 25 milligrams per 1 milliliter, saying that it's 100 milligrams. And they're like, yeah, I got to do 3 cc's per day, but you only get 75 milligrams.
I don't know if you were, you're younger than me, but back in the day, we used to make it from the pellets, from the cattle pellets.
Yeah.
And I remember I made, I don't know, it was 2001, 2002. Me and a buddy of mine got together and ordered some cattle pellets and made it. And that was the strongest shit I have ever used. It was unreal.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I guess because I don't know, because you just extract it and you use some chemical formula to kind of get it out. And then did you use the old school, what was it? The coffee filter to kind of get
the coffee filter, and you have to melt the shit in a solvent. It couldn't have been good for you.
No.
And you're getting all the binders out of it and stuff. And it came out like this honey color. It was just like this dark honey color. It was insane.
But that's the weird thing, that like the word on the street, the darker your Tren, the better it is. And people still don't know what the cause is that it's so dark. Is it oxidized? Is it?
Yeah, it's oxidized is what I've always thought.
Yeah,
but it's actually worse.
But but is it still metabolically active? Because most guys, like with the dark Tren, you get like either super bad Tren cough, or it would just work like a charm.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. So I hear
I haven't used it in 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, I keep it to a limited run, Steve. It's only on contest prep, and I'll run it for like the last 6-8 weeks. I usually, like last year, it was test and Primo, and then I think I added in Tren 8 weeks out, and then the last month or so, I ran some Anavar and a little bit of Halo testing right at the end. That was it.
And that was you were peeled.
Yeah, that was the best I've ever looked.
Yeah,
no DMP, nothing crazy. Clen, just some over-the-counter fat burners, and my DEXA. I don't know how much faith I put in the DEXA scan, but it said I was 4.75 when I stepped on stage.
Yeah, you looked about 5%. Yeah, you looked about 5% to me. Yeah,
I mean, it was good enough to win a
scan. Yeah. Should have kept going, man, that time. But
I know Justin was like, you should. Justin's like, just go do Masters Nationals. It was 6 weeks later, but it was summertime with my kids, vacations planned, stuff. It was just I felt good. I felt like I could have kept going, but I didn't want to be selfish and sacrifice time with my kids and my girlfriend and
Yeah,
stuff.
you got to be a dad, you know. Yeah, I'm planning for that now myself.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know. I saw your baby making protocol, and you're working on that. How's that going?
oh, so far so good. Like, so my last semen analysis was a little bit worse than the one before, but I did it at a different lab. So I'm not completely azoospermic, what most bodybuilders would expect, but because I've been using HCG for over a year. And so I think the first test I was 73 million with good morphology. So that's the shape of the semen. And then the last one I was 54 million per 1 milliliter with bad morphology, like at the minimal accepted range, 4%. So that's a discrepancy between both labs. And I think it's because that semen was like produced at the tail end of the cycle when I went to the United States or when I just came back. And I had like in my cabinet, I still had some gear left. So I was like, fuck it, I got to get rid of this. Right? Because I won't be able to use this gear for years. So I had some Primo, some Test, some Masteron. I just finished it all. And I was trading my socks off because I knew it wasn't going to be happening for a while. So I was probably a lot of oxidative stress. That's why the morphology was not so good. So now I'm doing glutathione for antioxidants, vitamin E for antioxidants, taurine for antioxidants. Man, and I do everything possible to improve fertility. And then I've been using like HCG and HMG, but I did an IV HMG administration, 75 IUs, and my follicle stimulating hormone only went up to like 6.5 milli-IUs per liter. So that's like in the middle of the reference range, which is nothing exciting. Like naturals have higher levels than that. And that's only a moment in time. That's like for 4 hours, because it's when you inject FSH, it's active for like 4 hours. The half-life is 4 hours. So you get like a little pulse and that's it. That's $50. And the LH was undetectable. So I think most of the HMG formulations, they have FSH and HCG, but not luteinizing hormone. Because I see this on blood work all the time. Because I asked my guy, I said, are you going to do a baby making protocol? IV it directly and then wait 5 minutes and then check your serum levels to see what the highest levels are. You can do this with growth hormone, with IGF-1, not with insulin, guys, not with insulin, please. But you can do this with, you can do this with some of the, people are crazy, right? So can I do this with insulin? I got those questions already. So you want to see what your highest levels can be without having the time window that it can actually start metabolizing. So that's usually 5 minutes. You inject it one side, 5 minutes, you wait, everything, all your blood kind of circulates and turns into an equal concentration. And then you check it on the other arm or the same arm. And then you see your serum concentration. So I saw FSH was middle of the range and LH was undetectable and HCG was high, but I injected that the day before. So I ordered some recombinant FSH and I'll run that at maybe 150 IUs every other day, give that another month or two, and then maybe bump it all up a little bit more, see if it's needed. Yeah.
You want to hear something absolutely hilarious, man? I blasted for 5 years straight and got my wife pregnant.
Yeah. No. So I've been preparing like a steroids versus fertility video, which will be like an insane deep dive of like 250 studies. And I went through most of the steroids already, but a couple left, so I'll record it next week. And dude, nobody's azoospermic. Most of the human studies, people don't reach complete azoospermia where they don't produce. They produce like subclinical levels. It's called oligospermia, something like that, where it's like below 20 million per milliliter with low morphology and bad motility. So they swim in circles, kind of like Homer Simpson, when he does the woohoo on the floor, he runs in circles, right? So the motility is, the semen goes like that as well. But even then, it's subfertile levels, but not complete infertility. And it's funny, Proviron, there's like 50 studies that show that it actually improves fertility.
Yeah, wasn't Proviron used as a fertility drug?
Yeah, up until the 80s, until selective estrogen receptor modulators came out, and then that whole practice was abandoned. There hasn't been a single study after the late 1980s about fertility, and halotestin was investigated in the same context, where subfertile men actually got halotestin 20 milligrams per day, and they improved their fertility parameters. It's hilarious.
Dude, it was funny. I was on for 5 years straight, got my wife pregnant. I was still on, and then I
Mhm.
came off cold turkey, no PCT, nothing, and then I got pregnant again after that. I
Wow. Yeah.
never did, and I was off for shit 10 years, something like that,
Uh-huh.
and then went back on in my mid 40s.
Right. Yeah, I think it's, highly exaggerated, but it also depends on how you treat your body besides the steroids, right? If you're in a very oxidative stress environment, then it's of course not healthy. I think smoking and drinking is worse for your fertility than steroids is.
Yeah, that's one thing that saved me. I've never smoked, I've never drank, I'm not a rec drug
Mhm.
user. So that's never been an issue for me.
Right.
I did run around a lot when I was younger, but I never was a drinker
Mhm.
or a smoker.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I think, as long as you have like you're in a good state of health for like 6 months up until leading into the conception period, and then it's up to her to stay healthy for another, what was it, 2 years almost until breastfeeding completes. You have the fertility or the pregnancy and then breastfeeding for, a year or 1.5 years. And then if I'm probably mistaken, but I haven't researched that far yet. So she needs to stay healthy a little bit longer than we need to do. So yeah, I think the window is like 6 months, and then you can go back on cycle, or at least eat a little bit less unhealthy or more unhealthy if you want to.
Well, you'll love being a parent. It's awesome. It's the first couple
Yeah,
years suck when you're changing diapers and not getting any sleep. That part sucks, but
I'm
after
sure.
that,
I'm sure, but I'll have staff. So luckily, my wife's mom is retiring next year, so we timed it perfectly. So she'll help out, and yeah, I outsource everything that I don't want to do. I'll do I'll do it all, like I do it a little bit just to say that I did, and but like if it falls within working hours that I can make money, then no, I won't be doing any diaper stuff. I'll play, the play learning with the kids, that I'll do.
well, that's the smart approach. Yeah,
Yeah.
kids are great. They'll change your life. But yeah, my entire my kids are older now. They're teenagers, so
Mhm.
my daughter's getting ready to drive and all this stuff. So it's
Oh
different
wow. Oh, that's
different set of responsibilities now.